Hey guys, Robb Flynn from Machine Head, and you're watching Guitar Part Magazine.
Plus grand que les micro-machines, plus enragé que Rage Against the Machine, plus connu que Machin ou Machine, voici Machine Head. Lors de leur venue au Zénith, leur leader, Robb Flynn, nous a gratifié d'une masterclass de haute volée, durant laquelle il nous a révélé les secrets du son de Machine Head, et notamment leur botte secrète, les harmoniques.
Hey everyone, it's Robb Flynn from Machine Head, and I am here to give you guys some kind of kick-ass heavy metal lesson. So, gonna jam out for a little bit. All right. So, not quite like that, but that's a lot of the stuff that I was doing just there is kind of my trademark lead style. And I'll show it to you guys slow also. Like, one of the main things that I do is like hammer-ons and pull-offs. So like, so I'm rarely doing any of the picking. So a lot of times I'll go. So to do that slow, I'm doing like one tung 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 on the pick, and then I'm doing most of the work with my fingers. And the only reason that I do that is, as opposed to picking all the notes, is that I think it sounds cleaner to my ear, and I'm always very cognizant of the fact that I'm trying to make things sound clean and, you know, fluid and smooth. So one more time, I'll show you that lick slow. And this is like a regular scale that you would do. We tune down to B, an open B, so our tuning is power chords like that. So is my main note. So yeah, so there you go. There's my there's a Robb Flynn lick for you. All right, let's see. I'll show you guys a simple riff now. This is a riff off of our new record. It's a song that the fans really go crazy for, and it's another kind of like a trademark sound of the Machine Head stuff. It's the harmonic. We have like a lot of harmonics that are in the rhythm. So our drummer Dave McLean actually wrote this riff, and so this is the main riff to Halo that I'm gonna play, and I'll play it for you at regular speed, and I'll play it for you at like a half speed or whatever. So a lot of times we have riffs that are like single notes also. So like, you know, as opposed to doing a power chord, to us a lot of times it sounds cooler just to go. So it's just a single note riff, and it's a little easier to play, but it's also, in some ways it's a little harder for people to get because metal is so often about. So it's kind of cool, it just varies up the sound, and then we do the chunking on that. And that's where we do the chunks. So I'll play that riff slow again so you can like see how it goes. Because it's a kind of trippy riff when you're playing it, like the way it sounds. And you got to get that harmonic. I usually do my harmonics with either these two fingers. And in that one, the only reason I'm using my pinky to hit this harmonic right here, the third string, I don't know. I actually call it the fourth string because it's the fourth string for me. I count from the top down. In Robb world, I count from the top down. And so it's this, that one. other riffs we do, another riff that we do is Davidian, and that's also got harmonics in it. And I'll show you how to play that. And I actually play that with the harmonics with this finger just because for whatever reason it's easier for me to hit both of them because it's kind of quick. So it goes. And so again, I don't know, there's no reason for that other than it's easier to hit the harmonic for me with this, which is my fattest of all of my fat sausage fingers. That one, for whatever reason, seems to make it easiest. So unlike Alexi Lohai, who is on the tour with us, who has like skinny spider fingers, which are amazing for shredding, I was born with fat sausage fingers. So I've kind of made the most of it. And, that's the one thing that I've got. I've got great harmonic fingers for. That's what having sausage fingers is good for. So I'll play that riff slow for you, and you can check it out. Probably the most important thing about getting that riff to sound right is going to be your palm, like how you mute these two strings, because you basically got to go. So you got to mute this quick enough to get this to ring out. And if you don't mute this, it'll sound. It just sounds sloppy. So that's definitely a thing that I really especially when I was first learning how to play guitar, I really concentrated on getting my picking hand and especially like my muting down. So a lot of times when I play, I'll play with my pinky all the way out, and I'll have it kind of out across this so that any strings that might ring from, kind of moving around get cut out really quick. So it gets cut out really quick. And so, a lot of times, sometimes people don't do that. That's just something that, like, with recording and something that with playing live, I found that I think sounds tighter and cleaner, and I'm, like, super, cognizant of that. So. So just something to be kind of aware of. That was just kind of an example of like having all your strings muted with that. And it's cool because you're getting your tone here still, but you're keeping these ones from ringing out. So, there's that one. I'll show you a little more complicated riff in Halo. This is another song this is another part to that song. And this is, I'll show you again, I'll show you at regular speed and high speed. This is actually a harmony that Phil and I do. So I play the low part. It's actually an octave, sorry. It's an octave first and then a harmony. So I play the low riff and Phil plays the high riff. And the reason is that I have to sing, and so I'm playing it here where I can see, whereas if I play it up here, I'm like looking over the microphone trying to do it. And I said, hey, Phil, you can fucking do that. So so this is the chorus riff, and I'll play the first part, which is the octave, and then my second part, which is the harmony to his root note, which is always the same. So. And so, the first part of that, and then Phil's part that always stays the same, is this. So in order to get the sound of the chorus, this is the two together, and that's what makes the sound. So this is Phil's part, which never changes. I do the harmony when I move up to here. So. remember that second part there. So that's Phil's part. And I'll play both the parts that I just did for you now slow. And the one thing, again, to really remember is your palming technique for this part. Because everything's so high and because you're hitting lots of open notes when you're doing it, like this string is always open, you really got to make sure that these 4 strings aren't ringing out, or it'll actually start feeding back. So you got to kind of just be aware of that. So here is my riff slow. And then Phil's riff, slow, is... There you go. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is a lead that I do in the song Clenching the Fists of Dissent off of our latest album, The Blackening. So not all of my leads, but most of my leads that I do are with a wah-wah. And I just like the sound of it. I'm a big Zakk Wylde fan. I'm a huge Zakk Wylde fan. And so a lot of my lead style is, influenced and inspired by him, especially the wah-wah and my vibrato. Like, I really, really love Zakk Wylde's vibrato. I think it's probably the best vibrato out of any guitar player there. And it's one of the hardest techniques, at least for me, it was one of the hardest techniques to get down really well. So I'll give you an example of how the first part of this starts off with finger tapping, but then the last part ends with some simple notes that really, like, the vibrato is really strong. And in order to make this part sound right and sound good to my ear, you got to really put a lot of vibrato into the notes. So one other thing about this part is that I'm doing the finger tap part with a wah-wah, and a lot of times when I use the wah-wah, I go really slow. Like, I use it more to just kind of go, like, just a little bit back and forth. So I'll show you the technique, and I'll show you it, once again, I'll show you regular speed, and then I'll show you at, like, halftime or whatever. So... So I'll show you that again. And the part, the vibrato part that I was talking about is the... So vibrato is... So you gotta make, so it gets all those parts really like singing, especially with a wah-wah. It's like, wah-na-na. The wah-wah helps kind of emphasize that. So. All right, so I'll show you it slow, and the main thing to remember when you're doing it is that, again, with your palm muting, when you're doing the finger taps, all of these strings, these top 5 strings here, gotta be muted, or it just goes crazy. So, and you don't want that. Crazy in a bad way, not in a good way. So. So I'll show you one more time. Cool. And so, and there you go. That is my lesson for Guitar Part Magazine. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. You guys rock, man, and have fun. Practice, dudes. That's what you got to do. Fucking practice. You got to hit that shit like 3 hours a day, every day. Like you're going to the gym. You're trying to get yoked. Except for you're trying to get your fingers yoked to shred, man. So do it. Take it easy.